This week, coming up from the ashes.
Yeah, but do you know who they added to it before this new release that's coming out?
Multiverses?
Yes.
No, I don't.
Jason.
Heck yeah.
They added
He
Jason.
should be
They
in-
added
Hilarious.
Jason, Agent Smith, and the fucking banana guard from Adventure Time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely hilarious.
But Jason should be a DVD. I'm just saying.
Oh, keep crying, keep crying.
Why must you hate me so much? Good morning, everybody. Today is July 22nd, and welcome to From the Ashes podcast. It is a day that we are going to be discussing some of our favorite franchises and why they are now dead. And maybe we'll discuss some other things within this podcast, but for right now, we're talking about a day a franchise died. And again, like I said, I am your host, Phoenix, and with me today, I have Arson, I have Zhombi, and I have Al, who is my pal. And I just want to welcome you guys in. How you guys doing?
We're just here.
Refreshingly awake.
Yeah, I'm actually awake too.
As we all talk at the same time.
Yeah, that's why I waited.
Well, I'm glad you guys are awake. Arson's always giving me crap for having such a cheery, demeanor or what?
Arson's never awake.
Yeah. Well, Arson is
Physically
never,
or mentally.
and Zombi's just undead, so there's that. But, anyways, guys, this is a topic that's pretty close and near and dear to my heart. Ever since this was brought up, I've been wanting to do it, and I think it annoys Arson because I've been wanting to do it. So, yeah. Arson, you all right there?
Why do you keep asking?
Because you
Because you're sleeping. It's okay.
Yeah. Hey, it's your day to do whatever you want, right?
It's his nap time. Leave him alone.
But all right, guys. So we are, like I said, we're going to be talking about our favorite. Well, not so much our favorite franchises, but just franchises that have this, haven't made it. Had a really long, history, and then just like completely died out. And so we'll see what we got cooked up in here, and we'll figure it out. But to kick things off, let's go with Zhombi. Zhombi, what are some franchises that you hold near and dear to your heart, and which ones have not been resurrected yet?
Well, the first one that came to my mind when I thought of games that, didn't get a sequel or didn't continue or, something like that. I wouldn't say that this game actually had anything beyond just the first one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think for me, and especially my brother, who we both played it together, not at the same time, obviously, because it's not a two-player game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was pretty, like, to me, it was revolutionary. Not saying that it actually was, but
To you it was.
and that, yes, to me, the game is called Stone Keep.
I have no idea what
I've
that
heard
is.
of this game. I have heard of this game. I don't think I played it very much, but I did hear of
So-
this game.
Stone Keep was a game by Interplay.
Okay, I know who they are.
And it came out in 95. So basically the whole part is it's a first-person dungeon crawler game with pre-rendered environments, digitized characters, and live-action cinematic sequences. So
Wait, you said you had live action sequences? So
live-action cinematic sequences.
So basically, what you're telling me, especially if it was done in '95, it was showing it, but it was like pixelated as hell.
Well, so I mean, you had like it would be a transition, like you'd like one of the particular scenes that you were in this area and you were peeking through a crack in the wall, and then as you kind of zoomed in through the crack, it played this, like this live action cinematic sequence.
Huh.
And then, once you were done, you kind of zoomed back out and it reverted to the standard gameplay.
That's pretty neat. That actually like kind of adds to it.
But
Yeah, when I think about this game, I always think about like it's like a D&D kind of setting.
yes, because it's a first-person role-playing game in the style of Eye of the Beholder and Dungeon Master. So, it's that, you're move one square at a time, and you kind of walk forward. The how they deal with like your inventory and being able to look at your party and everything like that is magic items. Like you have this magic mirror that lets you view your party.
Right.
And your inventory is a scroll that everything you picks up is converted to a drawing on this scroll. So it's I found that really interesting as a way to in-game lore explain how you're carrying 99 rocks.
Yeah.
And doesn't weigh anything. Well, because it's all just now, it's been magically converted to a drawing on this scroll.
Man, I wish they'd do that in most survival games. Jeez.
And ironically, I'm looking up this game to see if I remember it, and it's on Steam.
Yes, I just realized that it's on Steam
really?
for $10.
It's $10 on Steam right now.
Newly remastered.
And I do
No,
remember
I'm just
this
kidding.
game.
I would.
It's not remastered. It's still the same old dungeon crawl. I mean, the graphics might have gotten a little better. I doubt it, but I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they may have cleaned up the video in it, possibly.
Probably.
But so I don't really want to go into like the game, but basically, your goal is to defeat the Dark Lord, or the Dark God, or some the dark evil person.
Yeah.
And you go through levels and you work your way down through the castle and the mines and all that other stuff till you eventually come to and plot concludes.
Yeah.
But what really attracted me to it is when we bought it, it came with a book. It was like the entire prequel to this. And it was a good enough book. I read it several times. So I wish I still had it, but and yeah, I mean that was pretty much it. It didn't that was it.
So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Where's the franchise part come in?
Well, that's what I was saying is it wasn't really a franchise. But when I was like, there's not too many franchises that I'm fond of that aren't still going.
I've got quite a few actually.
I mean, there's some that I can think of that I'm like, oh yeah, that was okay, but it's not like, oh man, I really wish that had another season or it just died. Like I can think of several shows, but again, I think of it, I'm like, well, yeah, I watched it, but it wasn't like, oh man, I gotta watch this show. I gotta watch the next episode. It's kind of like, well, if I watch it, whatever.
But there's so many great franchises out there that could possibly make a comeback, and probably most likely will never be coming back.
I
But
mean, like I could go down the list of like shows that I liked that nothing happened. But again,
yeah,
it's I was trying to think of when I think back of games and shows and movies and stuff like that, of things that I watched I really wish had continued.
mhm,
There's not a whole lot for me to pick from.
yeah. And this is more video game type of franchises and stuff like that. So you're limited. I get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I mean, like before, like if this was done a while ago, um, before Fallout 3 came out, I would have said Fallout. Because there was 1, 2, and Tactics, and that pretty much that was it for a while.
mhm,
But it continued. It was picked up
right.
by Bethesda for boon or bane, however you want to view that.
Yeah.
But um,
So what would be considered a franchise? Would it be 2 or more games? Do you think?
I would probably agree to 2 or more games.
Okay. That's what I
The
was
ones
wondering.
that I'm thinking of, the ones that just 2 that come to the top of the head are about 2 or more games.
Okay. Okay, cuz I've got quite a few that at least have 2.
I mean, the only other one I can think of, and it's a specific series in a series.
mhm.
So it's Ultima Underworld and Ultima Underworld 2.
Mm.
Now, these were in the Ultima series of games.
Yeah.
But again, it's a high fantasy magic and goblins and all that knights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're in like this underground dungeon, and then there was a first one, and there was a second one. And I wish it continued. I didn't understand why it didn't, because the first one was good, the second one was okay. But so I understand why there wasn't a third,
Mhm.
because the second was just kind of, well, it was all right.
Well, let me name off some of these franchises that come to mind. Like I've got ones like Golden Axe, Siphon Filter, Wing Commander, what's another one? Guitar Hero, Bubsy, Parasite Eve, which Parasite Eve I would love to see come back, but more
Parasite
of
Eve
a
was my thing.
yeah, but I didn't like the
PS1,
second one.
baby.
I didn't like the second one. But we got those. We've got other ones like F-Zero.
Oh, yeah, that was one of mine.
I wouldn't. Oh, really? I wouldn't know if you would
Yeah.
say like Left 4 Dead, because they did Back
I
4
would say
Blood.
Half-Life, maybe.
Yeah, Uncharted. Sim City. You've got all these games, and I'm just
Uncharted
spitballing.
finished. I don't know if you can really put Uncharted in there.
Well, yeah, but it's still done. It's a dead franchise now that it's done. It's complete, right?
Yeah, it's complete. So when I'm thinking of dead franchises, I'm thinking of things that weren't completed.
Mm-hmm.
Things that just stopped because no one had any fan base for it.
Yeah. Well, I got like Star Fox and other things.
Yeah, that was one of mine also.
That just come to my mind, and Duke Nukem. But two or three of my favorite that I will say real quick, and we can touch on that in a little bit later. But here are 2 or 3 of mine that are pretty much dead, and I'm hoping one of them. These also have a chance to possibly return. I think, because one is getting a remake of its second game that's supposed to be coming out this year, from what I hear, later this year. But it's Silent Hill. Silent Hill is one of my all-time favorite games, straight up. Then we've got Command and Conquer. Dude, I love that game. I wish they would release a new one. Twisted Metal, with
That was also on my list too.
Oh, was it really?
Yep.
Yeah. So Twisted Metal, with the release of the TV show, gives me hope that they could actually bring back the game, even though I think the Twisted Metal TV show got canceled after the one season, which is still was really good, or it's hanging in limbo or whatever. But that's just some for me. I could keep on
Did you
going.
say that they were going to come out with another Silent Hill game?
Well, they're making Silent Hill 2. So it may be like a dead franchise, but it's getting a remake from at least the second game. If that goes over well, which I think it will, then we'll probably see it come back fully. I hope they redo it one, because I would love to do play a new version, like a re-up version of one with today's graphics and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
what about you, Zombie? I mean, sorry. What about you, Arson? You're over there.
Yeah,
You're over there.
what about you, Zombie?
Zombie Arson. That's what I meant. But Arson, what about you, man? What kind of franchises do you have on your slate that you think,
The only one that I have currently in my head, that's a series called Little Big Planet.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
Although, yeah, it was. I'm sure a lot of people know about it because honestly, it was a huge part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
You
Which
know,
was
it's
like
a
5
little.
years ago.
Yep. It's a game, where you play as a little sack person. You can customize
Sack
them
boy.
however you want. Uh, Make them look like a character from another franchise or something. And then you do the story mode. You do that, complete that. The real fun is when you get into like the user created stuff. They make their own levels with their own music and they basically make their own stories at that point. I've played some really good ones.
Last Little
Two
Big
was
Planet came out, what, 10 years ago?
yeah, three. I was like 2015, 16. I don't know.
Oh my god.
But yeah, they made three, and it wasn't as good as two, even though it wasn't really that bad. But the servers were terrible, and there were a lot of bugs and flaws, so it really didn't hold a candle to two. And two shall forever remain the best of the series because two is just better. But I mean, I guess
Didn't 3 come
technically
out like right before
speaking,
they made the PS4?
I think so, yeah. But the I don't know if I could really call it a franchise that died because they did come out with like a spin-off game called Sackboy: A Big Adventure, the platformer one. So I wouldn't know if the franchise is dead since they're
I mean, I
using,
would call it I
they're
would call
using
it dead.
Sackboy and as an IP, but I think Little Big Planet like as like a franchise, like the game franchise is dead. I guess that's like a special case where the franchise is dead, but the character isn't. So
I can pretty much say, yeah, the franchise is pretty much dead, but
Yeah.
which is a
it's unfortunate.
major shame. I
Yeah,
I love it a lot.
I mean that's
Yeah,
like
they've come out with
saying,
tons of spin-off games.
yeah,
The actual Little Big Planet is dead.
Yeah, it's gone.
that's like saying, well, you could say it's dead to rights, just like that series. Sorry,
Ha.
sorry, hey, there was not many puns made, so I figured I'd throw mine in there. It wasn't very punny, but hey.
Oh, it was punny.
Oh, okay, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You think we
But
could? No, we can't. Technically, but no, not as of recent, since it resurfaced with
so
a bang. And that's Friday the 13th.
oh my gosh,
It
don't
was.
even
It
get me.
was dead.
Don't get me started on this, Arson. Look,
Get started, man. We need to
look.
drag this out a little bit more.
Arson sent me this trailer the other day. He came into Discord just to be like, dude, you got to see this. He knew it was going to set me off. Like, he knew. I feel like he did. And what is the game called, Arson, that you sent me?
It's called Multiverses, man.
Yes.
It's a pretty
So
funny game, to be honest.
yeah, but do you know who they added to it before this new release that's coming out?
Multiverses?
Yes,
No, I don't.
Jason.
Heck yeah.
They added
No,
Jason.
he should be.
They
in-
added
Hilarious.
Jason, Agent Smith, and the fucking banana guard from Adventure Time.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
absolutely hilarious.
But Jason should be a DVD. I'm just saying.
Oh, keep crying, keep crying.
Why must you hate me so much?
You know the funny thing about Jason in Multiverses is he's built like freaking like the Kingpin and Broly.
Yeah, dude's huge.
Dude
Like
is huge and wide. I actually kind of like the design. It's pretty cool.
I kind of do too, but it really upsets me that they put him in there, and you know it's going to be cartoony as all get out with him. So, but
Yeah, it is. But he's
I
from
mean,
the
they have some
gameplay I've
ridiculous.
seen. He's
Looking at the
he's a
roster for
vicious
Multiverses
fighter.
right now, it's absolutely ridiculous.
yeah, well, you got Shaggy in there. You got you got the Scooby Gang.
He's got a move. He's got a move in the game where he he shoves you in a sleeping bag and he
That's
tosses you
Arya
out.
Stark. Game of Thrones in here.
Yeah.
You
So
have LeBron.
so Warner's just like, hey, we're gonna take all our products, any we have, and just throw it in there, and let's see if we can get it to work.
Yeah. Yeah, they got the Iron Giant in here. That's pretty solid, though.
Yeah, the Iron Giant. I thought that was cool. I was because when we were watching the trailer, I was like, wait, is that the Iron? It is. I was like, is Vin Diesel gonna voice the character?
If he does, he'll talk about family.
Yeah, or he'll
Yeah.
slip out. I am Iron Giant. No, that'd be funny. But
I think
all
Friday is a special case because even in the limbo it was in, it was never really dead, but people assumed it basically was.
yeah,
Since the last movie they made was like the remake back in like 2009, was it?
2009 had Jared Padalecki in it.
Yeah, 2009 was the last time they made an official Jason film appearance. And Jason's last game appearance was back in 2015. Well, no, yes,
It was Mortal Kombat,
2015
right?
or 16. Mortal Kombat X, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was his last game appearance. At least I think.
Wait, when did Friday the 13th come out?
Friday the 13th.
Oh no, wait, no. His last video game appearance was in his own game. In
I
like
was gonna say
2017.
I was pretty sure
His
that
last-
came out after.
His last guest appearance was in Mortal
Okay.
Kombat X.
Fair enough. Nice
Unless you
backpedaling.
want to count the the little cameo, not a cameo. It was mostly just a reference in the South Park DLC where Mimsy dressed up as Jason to murder counselors.
Oh, well,
But,
that's interesting.
Yeah, no. If guest Mortal Kombat X actual official game, his own, which unfortunately did not carry on as long as I hoped it would.
Look, now that you're mixing Jason with all your beloved characters, Warner Brothers, we need this. Okay, we need you to bring out a Scooby-Doo with Jason in it. Like, they go to camp at Crystal Lake, and they meet Jason. Who wouldn't want to see some really crazy Scooby-Doo chases with Jason behind them?
How are they gonna make that work?
I have no idea. I just make the ideas. It's their idea. It's their job to make it work. but we have gone completely off the road here. We're like deep into the country, like Deliverance country. We need to. You sure got a purty. Never mind. Anyways, let's get back on track. So, anyways, what else about some dead franchises or franchises that could be making a push to come back?
I've got a list.
All right, let's hear it.
I'm sure you have a list too, Vin.
Oh, I've already named a lot of the stuff on my list. I still have more actually. But
So some of my list we've already named some of the stuff on my list too.
uh-huh.
One that I wanted to talk about was Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh yeah.
That was one of my favorite games growing up. I used to love Banjo-Kazooie.
That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah. And then we already mentioned Star Fox.
Mm-hmm.
That was just an awesome game. And then for PlayStation, I used to play the mess out of Sly Cooper.
Oh wow, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, Sly Cooper, Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank. Those are all one of 3 of my favorite franchises in PlayStation.
Ratchet and Clank. They always had like the crazy kind of adult titles to each of their games.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah.
like wow.
Is that like Ratchet and Clank 1, 2, and 3? They were all like huge games. They were all like on a 50, 60 hours of completion.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. They put out a Ripped in Time like 4 years ago when PS5 came out because everybody wanted a new Ratchet and Clank game, and then they made it super shitty.
Yeah.
And it was a 10-hour completion rate game, and nobody wanted to play it anymore.
Yeah, but they don't. That's not considered dead though, right? Because
I mean, to me and all Ratchet and Clank fans, it should be.
Yeah. Well, one of my all-time favorites that is definitely, I wish it would come back, but this is a sequel game. Like, there's 2 parts to it, and that is the Lunar series, and it was a JRPG back in the day, and it released on Saturn first, but it was remade and done for PlayStation, and they called it the Silver Star Saga or Silver Star Story Complete. And then they came out with the second one, which was Eternal Blue, I believe. And after that, it's nothing. And that was one of the best games I've ever played. And I believe I'm actually going to try to play it, through an emulator on Steam. And I'm going to try to stream that actually, because I haven't played it in forever. And it's a really great game. So, but yeah, that I just threw that in there. But you do you have some more, Al?
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say Crash Bandicoot, but I don't know if I could really technically say that one's dead. They're still bringing out games for it, but it's really poop games, real shit games, to be quite honest.
Okay. Where is the shit game? Because the only one I'm thinking of right now is Crash Team Rumble. Crash
You have
Bandicoot 4, it's about
Nitro
time
Racing
actually
wasn't that great
bad.
either. Nitro Racing wasn't that great.
I actually heard a lot of people like that. That's a pretty bold take.
And then Spyro.
Spyro, yeah.
I can't really complain about Spyro. I think Spyro is a valid one because he hasn't actually had anything new aside from his game remakes.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I want to talk about one that's very controversial that people don't really talk about or play is Conkers.
Is what?
Conkers?
Oh, it's funny you should mention that. I mean, that's not a series, but because it only had the one game, right?
No, they had 2 games.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, they had 2 Conkers.
So it's funny you mentioned that, and I definitely want to talk about that more. But before we do, hey Arson.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to look at memes, but I keep getting these stupid fucking ad breaks. I can't really look at them well.
Oh gosh, I really can't stand ad breaks.
You're not gonna chew me out for looking at memes during the podcast?
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Hey, you are you, and you have to look at memes. Arson is a meme looker. And
I have a feeling that I don't know. You're kind of a teacher, so I kind of just assume that on your phone that would get you triggered. I guess not.
Well,
all right,
fine.
then.
You know what? You're right. It did get me triggered. And you know what? We're gonna take an ad break just so we can talk about this.
Uh-oh.
I don't feel so good, Matt.
Conker's had a bad night. Well, actually, he's had a very good night. But when Conker wakes up, he has no idea where he is.
Can you help me?
And he's sporting what could be the world's worst hangover. Conker wakes to a world of abusive and hazardous characters.
Look at him! Where he got?
Using resourcefulness and cunning, he goes full steam ahead into a series of difficult and dangerous situations. See how a really nice guy handles a really bad day in Conker's Bad Fur Day for your N64.
Alright, people, welcome back from the ad break. After having my phone confiscated and thrown in the incinerator, we're finally back to talk to you about this stupid fucking topic. Thanks for throwing my phone away, Phoenix.
Look, you made your bed. Now it's time to lie in it. You know,
That
I'm
is
just
such a
saying.
stupid phrase.
I have a feeling if it came down to his bed, he wouldn't be making it. He would be sleeping in it.
Oh, especially
Yeah,
right
I
now.
I would be sleeping in it, and then you throw that in the incinerator, you bastard.
And
Hey.
then you'd sleep on the couch.
And then that would get
Gonna
to
throw my couch in my beanbag too.
the bean bag. Oh my gosh, I haven't had one of those since I was 3.
Yeah, what are we in the
That's a crime.
1990s? What is this?
It's a crime. How dare you not like beanbags?
You know, Arson has his rubber chicken sitting on his beanbag, right?
Of course he does.
It's usually a whoopee cushion, but
Oh, that's even funnier. You got the one that blends in, right? Like, haha.
they'll never see it.
They'll never see it coming. All right, so getting back to the topic that was brought up right before we went to break, Al brought up a certain game. What was that game again, Al?
But old Conkers.
So,
There were 3 games in the Conkers franchise.
was there?
The third one was kind of It was part of the Xbox that they tried to revamp it. Didn't really work that well. But the original one that came out on the
64.
Conker series back in 1999, Conker's Pocket Tales, and then Conker's Bad Fur Day that came out in 64.
Really? I
On the
thought they
64.
Okay. So,
The first one came out in Game Boy Color.
really?
Yeah.
Huh. That surprises me because that's more kid friendly. Like,
Yeah, the first one came out in Game Boy Color like 99, and then the second one, Conker's Bad Fur Day, that everyone plays and everyone talks about now. 20 years later, it came out in like 2001.
okay, so that being said, I had no idea what this game was up until not too long ago, and then I, of course, being told about it, I forgot. But Maya brought it back up to me like yesterday. That was yesterday, right, Arson?
Oh, sure, man.
So I was talking about this emulator thing I have, and it had Conker's Bad Fur Day on it. She wanted me to play it and stream it in Discord so everybody could watch, or she could watch. So I was like, okay. I did.
It's an absolutely hilarious game.
Oh my gosh, I got through the barn scene and that stuff, and like,
It is.
so I had to get to the last part I did before I stopped was I had to gather up all the bees to get the king bee to pollinate the flower.
Yeah.
We'll just say that. And oh my gosh, and then when you get it done and she's like, here, bounce off me. I'm like,
This game was made for mature content.
it absolutely was.
It is. The squirrel is drinking, using profanity, like smoking tobacco, like just doing a bunch of crazy stuff.
The big flower has a big set of honkers that you bounce off of. But yeah, the
Work that hangs itself.
oh my gosh, and it just sits there, like, hey, thanks for helping me. So I got done with that part. And Arson came in when we were playing it, or when I was playing it, and he just hung around.
It was advertised for college males. That's where the game was advertised for.
Of course, that game would never be allowed. Like, I mean, it could be allowed, but because they got
they'd be pushing the boundaries.
Yes, they would. But I got through that part, and then what's the last part I did? It was the I had to go back into the barn, take out that really big old Terminator hay, and and after that I climbed the ladder, jumped off, and I couldn't land in the middle, and I kept dying, so I stopped. So you know, and then I got caught up playing it yesterday for a long time, but so I just thought that was the irony in you talking about that, and I just was really introduced to the gameplay yesterday.
Yeah, I used to play it back in the day, and then, I kind of just left it alone for a while. And I was on Twitch, strolling through, trying to find out something to watch or if somebody was playing something. And I scrolled through one screen and someone was playing Conkers, and I was like, I need to watch this shit. That's where it came out of my mind again. I hadn't even thought about Conkers in like 15 years. I was like, I didn't even forget about this game.
That's so crazy. So yeah, that I had no knowledge of the game. I had back then a Nintendo 64, but it was very limited because I was more pro PlayStation. I was like a PlayStation junkie. That was my jam. But I had like the game systems. I just had certain games. Usually it was for like wrestling games and stuff like that because they are the best usually, or sports games like Madden, golf. Because I love a good golf game. But yeah, so that's interesting. All right, so let's turn a little bit and let's talk about something different.
Let me move my chair.
Yes, please do. So of all the games, thank you. Of all the games I've mentioned, there's some I didn't like. Max Payne, Wild Arms, which Wild Arms was a good series. Driver. We've got, and of course now I've got a list in front of me, so I'm kind of like going off of some of those too. We got Ninja Gaiden or Gaiden, depending on how you say it. Rayman. We got Tony Hawk's.
Rayman was also one that I thought about.
Yeah. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, which they did recently, like a couple years ago, release Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 together on the PS4, and it ported over to the PS5 as well. I actually have that because I remember when the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater came out. That was so much fun. I played the crap out of that game. But then you've got these other games that we haven't mentioned yet, like what is it? Vigilante 8. What other
forgot
ones?
about that.
Skylander.
64?
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got the Def Jam game, State of Emergency. You got all these games that
Portal.
Portal's one.
I forgot all about Portal.
Yeah, so we can even go as far to say like Punch Out. Punch Out's a game that's dead. But then Evil Within, probably BioShock. But BioShock and Evil Within there's a good chance that they could actually come back. But yeah, you've got all these games that could potentially come back, or may just completely stay dead. Do you guys have a franchise that you would wish that would come back and to bring back its glory? Maybe start off with bringing out a remake of the original and then just going from there. What do you guys think of that? And I'm going to start with Arson on this one.
No comment.
No, really? No, that's not allowed. Don't make me burn your. Never mind.
Can I skip my turn for now?
Absolutely. Okay, then we'll go with Al. Al, talk to me, baby.
So you're gonna think I'm a little weird for this one. This is not one of the ones that I even talked about, even named or whatsoever.
Hold on.
The game.
I already thought you were weird, so go ahead.
Well, that's good. The game that I would like for it to be rebooted or to come back in, full swing is Time Crisis.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Leisure Suit Larry.
Phoenix Wright. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, Time Crisis. That's an interesting choice, actually.
Yeah, well, so I used to love going to arcades
Yeah.
And Time Crisis was always one of my favorite games to play.
Yes.
I could sit there for hours and play Time Crisis and go through the game.
And that was released on
When I
PlayStation,
had-
right? With the gun?
Yeah, when I had it on
yeah.
PlayStation 3 and I had the gun for the PlayStation Move, quote
Uh-huh.
unquote, that no one actually gave a shit about.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, so I had the little gun for the PlayStation Move and all that stuff, and I played it on there, and I just wish that it would have a better. It just needs a revamp and a reboot if they're going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's by Namco, isn't it? It's Bandai.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I just wish that it would have a bigger fan base and it would come back.
To be fair, I completely forgot about it. So
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
I really did. I didn't even give it a second thought. Like when I think of dead like franchises, you know, I think of like I said, like Turok and even Siphon Filter or Medal
Yeah,
of
Turok
Honor.
is the other one is that I had in my mind was SSX. You remember
Oh.
SSX back in the days?
I do.
Yeah, I wish that was a cool game back in the day. I would like that one to come back. A cool big revamp for it.
Oh man, that's pretty cool, man. I wouldn't mind seeing Time Crisis come back. That was a very fun game. I remember the first time I played that. Like, I didn't own it, but I was at somebody's house, and I don't even think it was it was a friend of a friend, and we played Time Crisis, so it was kind of cool. All right, well, yeah, Zhombi, what about you, man? What would you love to see come back? Like make a complete comeback to its glory, what kind of franchise would you like to see?
I don't know. They're like I said before, a lot of the games I enjoy playing are still around.
Yeah.
In some fashion or another. I enjoyed Dungeon Keeper and Dungeon Keeper 2.
Oh yeah.
Now granted, those particular games aren't around, but there are games that are similar enough that you could call them the spiritual successor of.
Yeah.
Like there's the Dungeons 2, there's
Yeah.
those games. And so even though it's not Dungeon Keeper, it's to me, it's okay, it's close enough. So, and again, I was at one point I was going to say, oh, well, Left 4 Dead, but then they came with Back 4 Blood, which is, like it or not, it's close enough that a lot of people consider it to be Left 4 Dead 3, basically.
I mean, I think they're trying to, peg it as more of a spinoff than it is Left 4 Dead, but
but I mean, how people are. They're like, oh, well, yeah, it's basically Left 4 Dead 3.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's like taking a game like Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger and being
Chrono Trigger, yeah.
Like sitting there and being like, well, that's pretty much a Final Fantasy game, like it's bundled with Final Fantasy stuff. Like it's not because it's Square or Square Enix or Squaresoft, whatever. It's literally that's what it is. It's
the same
pretty much
style.
a Final Fantasy game. Yeah.
It's the same playstyle. I mean, it's realistically it's made by the same people, so
yeah.
Being the same playstyle makes sense.
Right. Go ahead.
I was to say, so I mean, I guess for nostalgia purposes, having Ultima Underworld come back is a completely redone but keep the same. Again, kind of like what you're saying, do like a remaster of it and then go from there.
Right.
I think would be amazing.
So let me ask you a question. Oh,
even realistically, some of these games, like they did with, like they did with the Lion King game and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, they could just release these games to Steam.
Yeah.
And people would still play them, whether they be revamped or not.
Well, let me ask you a question, okay?
42.
What? Dang, how did you know that was the answer?
Because it just is.
24.
Oh gosh. Okay, so there are games that could potentially make the comeback. We're talking about this now. With the upcoming, granted, it's going to be not until August, and this is more for Arson and Al because you don't really play Dead by Daylight, and I know I bring this up every time. Okay,
And I
but
won't.
but with the reemergence of Castlevania coming to,
Yeah, I don't
uh,
think so.
you don't think that's going to spark something for them to make a brand new Castlevania game?
I don't think so.
Man, I feel like it's going to. My own personal belief, I think if it goes off well and it's Dead by Daylight
Well, if they
solo.
didn't think that the live action and the anime that came out for it was going to revamp anything, then no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that could be true, but I mean, that's,
I mean, they had 4 seasons of Castlevania came out on Netflix, and nothing else happened after that.
yeah. Well, I mean, I guess only time will tell, right?
I mean, they're coming out with TV shows and movies and stuff like that, but I don't know if they'll revamp the game
that I mean, not so much revamp it, but as come out with a brand new one,
or
or
continue. Yeah, I don't know if they'll
continuation,
continue
yeah.
again. Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's I'm wondering, with that, I would love to see a new Castlevania game. That'd be really cool. But like you said, yeah, it may not happen. It may happen, but all right. So let's see who's next on our list. I believe it's Arson. Arson, did you figure out one that you would love to see come back?
No, I'm just kidding. Well, this is a bit of a very obscure one,
Mm-hmm.
and well, I think it's dead. I don't think they've made any games, or at least any games that are notable.
Yeah.
Um, the series is called Cabela's Dangerous Hunts,
Oh yeah, I know what it is.
Never heard of it.
and
No.
yeah, it's a game where like um, if you don't know, Cabela has like a series of hunting games. They have like
Oh,
normal
yeah,
ones
yeah, I
where you
know what
like
you're talking about.
you hunt things. I think fishing things. The hunting stuff. Stuff
Yeah.
like that. And they decided to make a spin-off series, or that I guess turned into a main series called Cabela's Dangerous Hunts. And in this, you hunt all sorts of dangerous animals like wolves, bears, lions, all that stuff. Um, I think you fight Bigfoot in one of them. I think it, I think it was,
Interesting.
I think it was two.
I'd buy that.
But the one that I played, the one that I remember very fondly is Dangerous Hunts 2011, because it focused more on like the environment and the story instead of like the you know shoot the animals that want to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
It's still the same there, but like there's more story. I mean, like you you see your brother get eaten in front of you by a pack of wolves. It's
Oof.
pretty metal.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the game, it has like this whole build up, because I didn't understand it back then, but the wolves that ate your brother were actually controlled by like a sort of whistle. It was weird. It had like a whole thing.
Wow.
Um, and they were like doing some weird things to like hunt or control. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played.
Mm.
Uh, to get this hyena that's like just I don't know, it's like some sort of freak of nature, or like it's a
A
genetic
were hyena.
experiment. Yeah, something like that. But like it was a hyena that like killed your dad. I'm not sure.
And it
Um,
laughed while I did it.
yeah, it's
Yes.
actually the fight is pretty freaky because you actually hear it laughing while
Oh,
you're trying to like
oh,
figure out where it is.
I didn't even realize that. I just. Okay, well, hey,
Mhm.
yeah.
But no, yeah, you fight that hyena, and it's a freaky fight. but you don't even believe if you've actually killed it or not because it kind of leans kind of to the supernatural side of it.
Yeah.
I had no
But
idea this was made by Activision.
yeah, and I think the protagonist who doesn't talk in game, there's like the little loading screens have like narration from him. And who do you guess he's voiced by?
Lee Ermey. Or
Morgan
Lee Ermey.
Freeman.
No.
Oh man, I wish.
Freeman.
No, it is none other than our beloved Troy Baker.
Oh, of
Nice.
course. I should have
Nice.
guessed that. Like, Arson really has a Jones for Troy Baker. So if you're listening to this, Troy Baker, we'd love to have you on the show.
What platform did you play it on?
I played it on PS3.
So you played it with the PlayStation Move, or did you play it with just regular PS3?
I wanted to play it with the Move, but yeah, I played it with the controller.
Okay. Yeah, see,
Um,
because when I looked it up, it said that it was also compatible with PlayStation Move, and I was like, "That's lit."
yeah. But no, yeah, you like it's really awesome. Like you go from like the forest to the savannah and you fight all the different types of like, predators and shit, but you also fight like baboons and monkeys and hippos and all that shit. It's a wild game.
Huh.
I wouldn't mind if it came back, if I'm being honest. It was a fun game. I never played the other ones, but I really loved 2011 because it just had, I guess it had a different vibe compared to the rest.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I like it. And I like that they kind of like they slightly lean into the supernatural side of things, but not too much.
Mm-hmm.
To
Bigfoot. I mean, that's pretty cool. A were
yeah,
hyena.
I think that was in 2. I think you fought it in that was like one of the earlier. I don't know why in the earlier games of any franchise more crazier shit happens, but
Mhm.
when it's finally established and they move along, like they mellow out by a lot.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So, do you know what game I would love? Of course, I kind of outed myself earlier with the game I would love to see come back and everything. But if you guys remember, um, there's a couple different games I would love to see make a huge comeback, and Silent Hill may be doing that. That's the one I wish above all else. I hope Silent Hill 2 comes out, and kills it, and then they finally decide to bring out, granted it's in reverse, but redo Silent Hill, the original. I would love to
You're gonna
see
be
that.
you're gonna be able to play those games.
Would I be able to play those games?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
With how scary you are with most games.
Oh no, please, I love playing that kind of stuff. Although I will say one of the me and a friend of mine played
make
this.
it like Faz.
Well, me and a friend of mine, we played Silent Hill on the original PlayStation, and we got made fun of. And I think I brought this up before in a previous podcast, but we got made fun of because we played in the dark, and we were the only ones up playing in the dark throughout the night, and we played through and beat Silent Hill. And they made fun of us. Oh, why don't you just light a candle? And da 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 da. I'm like, shut up! It was fun. Well, why don't you try playing a horror game at night in the dark? But yeah, that's one of my all-time favorites, and
I
it
used to
really.
get scared playing Devil May Cry. Don't get me started.
I've seen Arson scream by. Never mind. We're not getting into that.
Of course.
But yeah, I would love to see like other games like and don't get me wrong, I'm not a big first person shooter type of person, but I'd love to see Medal of Honor return. I think that would be really cool. There was if you guys don't know what Medal of Honor is, and I don't know what to tell you.
It's a game.
Except for
It is a game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it takes place back in like World War I, World War II, and stuff like that. Like different games have different eras in it. But it's a lot of fun. I played that with my buddy Lone Marine, which you guys know who that is, the ones that have played with him before and stuff like that. I'd love to see them come out with a new SimCity. That would be fun. But yeah, Silent Hill is my top. As far as I know, that's
It
on the top of my
reminded
head
me
right
of
now.
one called Bomberman.
Bomberman, dude, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite little party type games that me and three other friends would get together and do that kind of stuff. So that's a lot of fun. All right, so we're gonna be closing out here in a few, and I would like to get your guys' opinion on this, and I'll start so I can give the rest to you guys. What one-off game would you love to see turn into a franchise? And I feel like Zombie already kind of answered his at the beginning, but I'll give him a second chance if he wants to go with that one or go with a different one. That's fine. But the game I would love to see, and Zombie actually may agree with me on this, but the game I would love to see turn into a franchise is The Legend of Dragoon.
Yes.
I would love to see that game first be re-released in brand new graphics. The same story. Don't change the story, for Pete's sakes. Don't change the story.
Change the story.
I was to say, if they change the story, I think you're going to piss off a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah. And Sony, if you're hearing this right now, please remake it, but keep it true to form. But yeah,
They're not going to do that.
that's the game I would love to see get a franchise above all else, because that's one of my favorite games of all time. And with that, Zombie, what do you think?
I'd have to stick with what I said earlier, Stone Keep.
Yeah, I figured you would. You kind of gave me the idea to do this at the end. So Stone
You're
Keep.
welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good stuff. All right. What about you, Al? What would you, if you could choose one game,
Move on to
off?
Arson. I gotta think about this. I have no idea.
Arson, I hope you're ready for this. I kind of sprung.
No,
this on you guys.
I'm gonna skip as well.
No, you're not. Seriously?
Yes, I use my skip card.
Oh gosh, I reversed.
I have unlimited skip cards.
I reversed that one too. All right, so
What?
that's fine. That's fine. If you guys, don't have one that you can think of right now, that's fine. But yeah, I really love my choice, and I think Legend of Dragoon would be an amazing one to bring back and make a franchise out of. And before we actually go, I'm trying to stall to see if Al actually came up with something real quick.
I cannot. No, I'm trying to think of the video games that I've played, and I don't think I played just one.
Really?
Like, it was just made that one game, and that was it. I don't think I played one like that.
What a twist.
Okay, how about this? We'll end it on this instead. What
I
franchise?
could have said Hades, but Hades just came out with number 2.
Oh yeah, that's right. What? Okay. Let's ask this, and this will be the final question instead. What franchise do you think that should die?
This is a
I'm gonna
horrible
say
choice
it.
for me.
I'm gonna say it.
What? Fortnite?
Call of Duty.
Call of Duty. Fortnite.
No, Fortnite's not a thing. I don't. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think Destiny needs to die.
Okay. Call of Duty, Destiny. What about you, Zombie? Do you have any thoughts on that? Like, what franchise just needs to finally die?
I'm going to say it, and you're going to hate it.
I know you're gonna say it, and I'm waiting for it. Go ahead.
Dead by Daylight.
But is
Franchise,
it a franchise though? It's only one game.
Only one
Yeah,
game.
okay,
Technically
really?
speaking, not anymore. It's got
It's
Well,
got
it's got-
DLCs. It's got
That's
a lot of-
spin-off.
DLCs
It's
and
not the
spin-off
spin-offs.
games and
it's got a movie. You
Hey,
cannot
not
use
yet.
that excuse.
Not yet.
Wait, where's the movie? Can you present that movie?
Still in production.
Are we able to
Still
watch
in
it?
production.
It's coming. Does that change anything? Does that change the
Yeah.
fucking outcome?
it does.
Phoenix? I'm sorry.
Oh no! But I was waiting. I was waiting for Zombie to say it. Like I knew what he was gonna say. But yeah. All right. Well, on that note, we'll
Was
call
that
this.
so? What note was that? Was that a C?
No, I finally
Yeah,
realized
high
what game I
F.
wanted to turn into a
Okay.
franchise.
Oh, what?
A game called Days Gone.
Days Gone. I actually know that.
It was supposed to have a sequel, never did,
Huh?
and I am so disappointed.
Man.
I guess
That's
that could also be another franchise that never really even sprung to life.
yeah.
It was an awesome game, had a decent premise, interesting characters, and nothing else came of it.
Yeah.
And
I-
it's a crying shame.
I do have one more I'd love to see come back, and that's the James Bond series. I'd love to see some new James Bond games. You know, re-release GoldenEye and then come out with something else. But anyways, that's another thought. But yeah, guys, this has been fun. I've enjoyed really going over all these franchises and except for Zombies' hate for Dead by Daylight. You know what game I'd love to see them turn into a franchise besides Zombies Gas.
That's already a franchise.
It's got so many sequels.
Just today, I mean, how many have there been?
I've heard at least 3. This is the first one I've called, but I've heard at
There's
least
been
3.
there's been at least like 5.
So that being said, I have no idea where I was going with that because I was going to say something else.
My
But
guess
We're gonna say
distracted
something
you.
about Unreal
Oh.
Tournament needing to come back.
no, the one that they really need to make a sequel to is Skull and Bones.
No, stop that.
No. See, Skull and Bones is the sequel to Black Flag.
Go
It's
back
a
to
crappy
sleep.
sequel.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
That is atrocious that you even said that.
The hate is real for Skull and Bones in this channel right now.
Because it's deserved.
Exactly.
Gosh,
Oh
all right.
my gosh.
To the
I can't
incinerator
believe
you
just
go.
even put that out in the world.
But anyways, Ubisoft, get started on the second one. Come on, let's do this. No, I'm just kidding. I like it.
Don't
Look,
taint people's ear with that trash.
you all know I love it. I just can't help it. Anyways, on that note, we are going to head out. I appreciate you guys for joining me with this, and I want you guys to know that that shoot, I can't even think of what I was going to say.
Words.
Words are hard.
Are hard.
Exactly. But I want to thank you guys. If anybody out there watching has lasted this long, would like to
Wait,
go
they're watching?
well, listening. Sorry,
I was like, wait a minute.
if you
Again,
are
we
still-
say words are hard.
words are hard. English is the most difficult language, right? So, but anywho, although it's pretty easy for me to learn, I just can't keep up the facade. But anyways, you guys have a great week. If anybody out there is interested in knowing more about us or anything about the channel, we have a link in the description below, and that'll get you to all things From the Ashes. And as Arson likes to say, the Phoenix, link basically, but it's not. It's everybody. But anyways,
No.
I hope you guys have a great week. We shall do this again next week as always. And yeah, I love you all. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Believe you, Bob.